guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pashvika. Welcome to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to get started with the pottery, ceramics or the clay for the sculpting as a beginner completely on a budget. Because if you're going with the clay types, there are so many different types of clay are available in the market. I have already made a video talking about the different types of clay that you can use in the pottery. I'm gonna leave that video in the card section above. You can check it out. And also I made a video talking about how to get started with the clay as a beginner. I'm gonna leave both these videos in the card section above. You can check it out. But today I'm gonna be talking about how to get started with the clay, pottery, ceramics on budget as a beginner, because it could be really expensive if you're going with expensive clay. And if you're going with the natural clay like the stoneware clay, earthenware clay, or even with the porcelain or ceramics, you need to have a kiln, or you need to get a kiln arranged for your work so that you can fire your works and then you can glaze it and you can either sell it or use it for your own personal use, whatever the case is. So it could be really expensive. So I want to tell you some ways, some tips to make it less expensive, especially on a budget if you want to get started with that. So let's dive in with today's video. Before we go, consider clicking the like button, guys. I really appreciate that. If you want more such video, consider subscribing. Hit the bell icon so whenever we upload new videos, you'll be get notified about it. So let's dive in with today's video. I'm going to be talking about some tips. Also going to share you some tools with you guys, that the ultimate necessary tools, and some of the tools that you don't need it. Like these are just the optional, and you can save your money by not purchasing those tools. One tip that I have for you, if you are starting with the clay on a budget, the first thing you would be needing obviously the clay. Now I have 3 or 4 types of the different clays. Now this one is a stoneware clay. You could see it's a kind of like a grayish clay. This is the terracotta clay. That is the earthenware clay. So I do have the porcelain clay as well, but I have made a video talking about three different types of the clay for the ceramics, for the pottery, the stoneware, the earthenware, and the porcelain clay, and all those kind of stuff. So I do have a lot of the clays, but in the beginning I get started with this one. That is the earthenware clay. So that's why I want to tell you, if you're getting started with clay, with the pottery, with all those things as a beginner on a budget, I would highly recommend you to go with the earthenware clay, because it's really less expensive and you can get started with that. Now the porcelain clay is really expensive clay. So that is the first thing you would be looking forward to, buying the right type of the clay. Now there are so many clays available in the market, and if you want to just get started with the clay, then I heavily recommend you to go with the air dry clay. You can get started with the air dry clay, because in the air dry clay you don't need a kiln, you don't need to fire it. You can just make it whatever you want to make and allow it to just dry it out naturally in the environment, and once it's dried, it's finished. And either you can color them with the acrylic paints if you want to, or you can just leave it like that only. So that is the thing, you can get started with the air dry clay. And after that, if you really want to get serious with making pottery, with making the ceramics or making something like that, then you can get started with the earthenware clay. Earthenware clay has a terracotta clay. It's a terracotta texture. I really love its texture. It's quite cheap in comparison to the porcelain with the stoneware clay, and you can get started with on the budget. And of course, one thing is also amazing about the earthenware clay is that you don't need a high temperature to fire it. It can be fired at low temperature. But one thing I don't really like about the earthenware clay is that they are quite porous. Even after firing it, you see that this type of clay is quite porous. Like you usually see this type of pots used for the plantery, used in the garden. These are quite porous unless you apply a kind of like a seal, a varnish, or something like a sealant to seal that the porous surface off. Another thing you would be needing is the tools. Now there are so many tools available in the market. There is a complete list. You can go on the Amazon, you can go on the different websites, even on the Etsy, even on the different platforms. And you can just Google it as well, the clay tools or the tools for the pottery, for the sculpting, for the ceramics, and there are a lot of the tools. I would highly recommend you, if you're getting started with that, some of the tools that I can tell you are available at your home itself right now, and you can utilize it and you don't need to purchase them. The tool that I can show you is this toothpick. Now I think that many people do have it at their home, and even if you don't have it in your home, you can purchase the toothpick. These are really less expensive, and you can purchase these toothpicks, and these toothpicks can work wonders for your ceramics, for your pottery. Like you can give it to whatever shape, you can make the designs using its pinpoint projects, and you can do a lot of the stuff with this particular tool. It's really cheap and less expensive. Another tool I want to show you is you can use the brush. Now you don't need to have a natural fiber brush or natural hair brush. You can use a synthetic brush as well, because natural one may be expensive. So you can get started with the cheap brushes that are available in the market for the painting with the watercolors, with the acrylics. You can get a one and you can use these brushes. These brushes work wonders. Like when you want to apply water onto your work and you want to finish it up, you want to smoothen it up, you can use this brush. You can apply just a plain water and you can smoothen up your work using this brush, and it's really really cheap on a budget. You can use the brush. I think most of the people do have a brush at their home, because they were, as a kid, used to do the paintings and drawings lessons and craft lessons in their school, in their college, so they might be having this kind of brush. Even if you don't have one, you could purchase it at the local Dollar Tree store or at a local store for a few bucks, and you can get started with that. And it's so simple, so easy. And also you can use the back end of the brush. You could see the back end of the brush is quite pointed. I can use it for carving, I can use it for giving a shape or size or whatever, or for my ceramics, for working as a stamp as well. So that is the unique thing about it. Another thing you can use it is your old pencil and your old sketch pen. Now this one is the old sketch pen. I think it's a luxury sketch pen. I use it for ceramics. Yes. You can see there is a lot of the clays there on the surface. So what you can see, just open your thing and you could see the pointed surface is that. You can use this pointed surface to give the whatever the shape and size, and you can use it as a stamp for your ceramics. You can use the back end as well. You can also use this end as well, or this end as well. There is so many things you can do it, you can use it. And you can use the old sketch pens, old markers, or you can also use the pencil. Like you can also use the pencil. Now this Pepper Kessel pencil, I don't use this pencil, so I use this pencil for my ceramics at times when I want to give it the shape, when I want to give a pointed shape, or want to make a hole, something for sculpture or miniatures. I do use it. So you can use the old pencils or the old sketch pens or markers for giving the shape, size, and making a hole for your ceramic and pottery. These are really cheap because you already have at your home. Like everyone has a pen at their home, and you can use the spare pens as well. If you don't have sketch pens, you can use the spare pens, or you can use the empty pens, the pens that are no longer used for your working, for writing. You can use them in the pottery. Another thing which I really love about, and which is really really cheap, is the sponge. Yes, you can have a sponge. Now I want to tell you, this is the sponge. I get it from the packaging. Like I bought something in the online spice for the Christmas season, and I get this sponge with that because that was a really delicate item, that was a showpiece. So I bought that, and with that showpiece I get that sponge, and it's the packaging material in that sponge, in that product. So I use this sponge for my finishing my ceramics. It's really really cheap. I'm not paying for anything. I just bought that particular product, and with that product I got this packaging material, and I'm using this packaging material to finish up with my ceramics, because this work wonder. You can just dip it into the water and you can just place it over to your ceramics, your pottery work, and smoothen out using the sponge. So these are pretty amazing. The thing guys, you would be needing a working mat. So you can use the old cardboard pieces. What I have done, I was having a lot of the cardboard pieces at my place because we were purchasing a lot from the online space, from the Amazon, from other marketplaces out there, and there were huge boxes were kept at my room, at my home, and they were kept like that only. So what I did, I cut a piece of the cardboard from that cartoon, from that box, and I'm using this for my working mat. So you need a place to work for your ceramics. You can either use a plastic if you have a one. I'm not using a plastic because I really want to go eco-friendly with that, so I'm avoiding the plastic. You can use the plastic. You can also use a ceramic tile for working for working place for your clay, because if you're working on your table, you need to have something on which you can work with your clay, which can get dirty, whatever it is. Some people use the plastic, some people use the working mat or placemat, some people do use the ceramic tile. So I personally use the cardboard. I find it's quite eco-friendly and quite cheap because I already have the boxes at my home and I don't need to purchase them. Another thing I would highly recommend you to using the old medicine wrappers. Like you would be having a medicines at your home that you have taken, or someone else in your family member have taken it that, so you would be having the wrappers of that medicines. So what you could do, if you're getting such kind of medicines at your home, like such kind of medicines you're getting at your home, it's quite empty, someone has used in my home, you could see it has a circular shape. It has a circular shape because the medicine was in the circular shape. So just having the circular shape, you can use the circular shape for giving the circular shape for your pottery. You can place the clay inside of it and take it out and use that circular shape for your giving the circular shape in your pottery, in your ceramics. Like you don't need anything like that. You can use the old medicine wrappers or the medicine wrappers in general. Don't throw them away, because we usually throw them away when we are using a medicine. The wrapper is there, we don't need it, we just throw it away. Don't throw it away, guys. Use these wrappers, and seriously do use these wrappers, and place the pottery inside of it and take it out, and you can just create a circular space using this medicine wrapper. And it's cheap because you already bought the medicine for some other purpose. And I'm going to show you guys for giving the shape for your pottery, for your sculptures. If you're making a miniatures like me, I do make a miniatures, a bird miniature, or something like an animal miniature, or any pottery miniatures, whatever it is you want to give a shape, you can use the cookie cutter. I have the cookie cutters in my home, in my room, in my kitchen. So I'm using these cookie cutter for giving a proper shape for my pottery. So you can use the cookie cutter. You don't need to purchase the stamps, or you don't need to purchase all those expensive stuffs for the pottery giving the shapes, and you can use the cookie cutter. Another tip I have for you, if you want to use a tool or a spatula for mixing your clay elements, and you don't have one and you are purchasing it, I would tell you don't purchase it. You can use the wooden popsicles or the ice cream sticks. If you are purchasing an ice cream, candies, you would be getting an ice cream stick with that. You can just wash it away and you can use these wooden popsicles. Now this one is a wooden popsicle, it's not an ice cream stick. I have a wooden popsicle is at my home because I bought it for my craft projects. And after my craft project is over, I don't need them. I was about to throw them, then I realized that I can use it for my clay. So these work wonders. I just put water into my clay and I mix it using these spatulas, using these wooden popsicles, and they are easy to clean, easy to use, and quite cheap. Not at all expensive, and also eco-friendly as well because they are made from the wood. You can use the old ice cream sticks or any kind of wooden popsicles. I tell you guys, a lot more stuffs you have at your home and room which you have never ever realized that you can very well use it for your clay projects. Before actually purchasing anything for your clay tools, just look at your kitchen, just look at your working space and see there are a lot many tools that you can use for your clay, and you don't need to buy those expensive tools that are available in the market. You can get started with all the tools that you have at your home and room, and then you want to upgrade your tools, then you can purchase those expensive ones. So these are my hacks, or these are some ways in which you can get started with as a beginner, completely on a budget, working with the clays. You can get started with the air dry clay. If you don't have a kiln and you want to surpass that kiln, then you can have an air dry clay. And if you really want to work with the natural clay, with the actual clay, then you can get started with the earthenware clay. It's quite cheap in comparison to the porcelain and stoneware, and then slowly you can move towards the stoneware clay and the porcelain clay. And also regarding one thing about the kiln, because we need to fire them. If you don't have a kiln, don't purchase it. It may cost you thousands of dollars. When you are a completely beginner, if you're thinking of purchasing of a clay, it can be a really expensive. So instead of going with the clay, maybe hire, maybe see, maybe do a research on a Google and look for the areas around your neighborhood, around your surroundings. They would be having a kiln. Or maybe there could be some ways in which you can fire your projects, in which you can fire your work and can make them the finished pieces. So you can be really get doing with that. Look around for your neighborhood. What are the different ways in which the people in your neighborhood are working it with the clay, with the pottery? Maybe they would be having a kiln in your local city center where you can go and pay for few bucks and can fire your all projects. Another tip I have for you, make all your miniature pieces first and then go take all those miniature pieces for firing. So you can make in the bulk and you can fire have a one day in a week, or have a one day in a month, and you can fire all your pieces together. So hopefully this video will really going to help you getting started with the clay, with the pottery, with the ceramics on a budget. Do let me know your own thoughts, your own views in the comment section below. Is this video really helpful to you or not? Are you getting started with the clay? What is your journey looks like? I would really love to hear from you in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video, guys. See you for the next time. Take care. Bye, guys.